Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Back on the Jimmy Dore Show here. 1.77 million subscribers. The massive winter storm is completely engineered. Dane Wigington is the name of the video. Again, America's kind of being hit by a massive winter storm. We've seen that in Russia there, which was absolutely insane, to be honest. The pictures of Russia and some of the snowstorms. I actually seen more footage of the kids sledging off the top of apartment buildings. The snow was that high. Kids were sledging off the top of apartment buildings that were like 6, 7 stories high. The snow was that high they could literally ski down on a sledge off the side, off the top of apartment buildings. Right, it was absolutely the snowstorm from hell, the likes of which you've never seen. So, whether that was the crack is here. I mean, hold on a minute, wait. I think we need to roll it back a minute. So, in Alaska, there is a thing called HAARP. Here we have it in Alaska. HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, Gacona, Alaska. So, the American government, I believe, own this facility called HAARP, which is hundreds of antennas that point into the sky. Now, this technology is, some say it was Tesla, Nikola Tesla technology that Nikola Tesla never managed to implement, and upon his death, the CIA raided Nikola Tesla's apartment and took everything. And of many of the things that they took, this was one, to be honest. Plenty of things Nikola Tesla invented. So, yeah, they took all his research, and from some of the research, they apparently built the HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, which is in Alaska. So I'll play a little bit of this video, and this can explain probably slightly better than I can what actually this thing is, if you've never heard of it. And is it capable of modifying the weather due to heating up the ionosphere? We're going into science here. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be a bit of science going on in here. So that's sort of the outline crack here about HAARP. We'll play this video. It's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds long. So it'll be a brief description of what HAARP is, I would imagine. Haven't watched the video, so I don't know. I'll know if it's right or wrong, though, so we'll see what the crack is. Here we go. Thought he was just going to take us to HAARP, not give us fucking panoramic views. Right, here it is. Yeah, this is it. Just a field full of antennas in the middle of nowhere, to be honest. But no, hold on. Right, so am I going to zoom in or not? I picked a bad video, to be honest. A bad video. I thought he was going to try and explain. That's kind of what it looks like. There's antennas. Not a very good picture, to be honest. Hold on. Right, so here's a better picture and video of what's going on here. That was just kind of a Google map vision of where it was in Alaska. So that's what it looks like. Again, it's just a field full of antennas like this, as far as the eye can see. Quite a big field. And apparently this video is called Why is Project HAARP So Controversial? Curious Droid is the name of the channel. 1.14 million subscribers. So quite a lot of subscribers here. Let's see what he's got to say.
When it comes to controversial science projects, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HAARP, is right up there with the moon landings and chemtrails on the conspiracy hit list. But once you get past the wilder theories and claims, the basis of the science and its aims is no less intriguing. So just what is HAARP and why is it so controversial?
Yeah, so what is HAARP and why is it so controversial? Let's get into it.
Some of the many reasons why HAARP attracts so much attention comes from the claims of scientifically uninformed theorists that say it can control the weather, set off earthquakes, hurricanes, floods, bring down missiles and planes, disrupt worldwide communications and influence people's minds and moods. If that were true, then it would be one of, if not the most powerful pieces of technology on the planet and hidden behind government and military secrecy.
Yeah, I mean, there's no talk of mind control here from HAARP or anything like that. Basically, it can control the weather, and it does that by heating up the ionosphere. So it can, in effect, control the weather. I mean, this is Nikola Tesla's fucking stuff. You know what I mean? So all this talk of mind control, that's all bollocks. You know what I mean? I mean, whether they could, if they could, see, they bounce it off the ionosphere, the beam, so then back down to Earth. I mean, this is how sort of radios work as well, and how we send radio signals round the Earth, which isn't flat. So again, it's well, but the problem is here. He's saying people who are ill-informed in science, but he's kind of talking to the ill-informed in science, and then probably not going to explain much science by the sounds of this. So we'll see what happens here. Hold on.
Yet HAARP is unclassified, though it was funded and jointly managed by the US Air Force, US Navy and DARPA. But due to budget cuts in 2014, the ownership of the site and all the equipment was transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, who now also run it. So what is the purpose of HAARP? Well, it's basic...
Alaska. I want to see the badge here. There'll be some fucking symbolism in that badge somewhere. Somebody to pick out. So yeah, again, this is the thing. It was run by the military and stuff originally. You know what I mean? So okay, hold on, we'll play it on. See what he's gonna say.
So what is the purpose of HAARP? Well, its basic remit is to study the ionosphere, its interaction with space weather, and how it affects radio communications here on Earth, as well as the generation of VLF, that's very low frequency, and ELF, extremely low frequency radio waves, which can travel around the world and penetrate deep under the sea for communications with submarines and into the ground to reveal underground structures. HAARP deals with some complex science, and how it operates is equally complex, but the basic principle is to try and replicate how the sun affects the upper atmosphere to create the ionosphere and how it then goes on to affect it. But
yeah, so like I said, they heat up the ionosphere using HAARP, but heating up the ionosphere could very much unsettle the weather. Again, the beams that are going up. I mean, people have kind of produced evidence. This is the thing. He's saying, "Oh, this is like a conspiracy theory as usual." But the amount of times HAARP's been on full power when some sort of fucking major weather event has happened, you can actually check whether HAARP's on or off as well. There's some sort of site on that thing he mentioned there, the UAF. You can literally look whether HAARP's on or not. And the amount of times HAARP's been on when we've had mega storms and all this kind of cracks, it's literally unreal, to be fair. So the beauty of this is, being the layman, we don't know. Do you know what I mean? We don't know. But that is the crack. It's a field full of antennas that heats up the ionosphere to do whatever they're doing. But again, what they're doing is, I mean, they can just lie to us, can't they? And say, oh, no, that's not what we're doing. Which is very much the way of things in this world. When people are doing things they shouldn't be, they tend to lie about it. So yeah, I mean, he's maybe not wrong. Like again, it's maybe, don't get me wrong. I don't think there's any sort of mind control aspect in here. Everything he said there. I mean, we're only mentioning sort of manipulating the weather here. through whatever means. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not a scientist here. I'm not Nikola Tesla. I didn't invent this. But it is a crack that they've got a field full of antennas that heats up the ionosphere. So, I mean, we don't really know what that could do and to do to the weather either, to be fair. So that's kind of the science, and that's kind of what it is. Whether what it does, again, it's kind of open for debate, I suppose, because we don't know. We're not scientists, and you can only really go off what they tell you. But you have to be aware that these people could lie about it at the same time, I suppose. You know what I mean? And considering we get lied to about probably everything else, there's a good chance this might be a lie as well, I suppose. Oh, we have to consider it. So that's kind of the technology. It's in Alaska, and it's debatable what it's up to. But some people believe it can manipulate the weather. Long story long. So we'll go back to the original video, this massive winter storm. And again, we had this crack in Russia, and that's the biggest storm you've ever seen. So, because one thing that's often said, if these people can manipulate the weather, why don't they stop severe weather events? See, that's kind of why they deny being able to manipulate the weather, because people often ask the question, well, why don't you stop all these catastrophic storms, and why don't you stop bad weather? And the hypothesis is, well, they don't stop bad weather. They start bad weather half of the time and hit you with these storms and things. That's kind of the theory, you know what I mean? So I don't know. This is just, again, this is HAARP, this is the crack. Again, I'm no scientist to know, but they do heat up the ionosphere with a field full of antennas in Alaska, and the majority of people don't know about it as well. It's not like a well-known thing, you know what I mean? So they're not broadcasting that they're doing this, you know what I mean? And when people kind of find out about it, like through people like me or whoever, then they oh yeah, we're just doing research. I mean, they've been doing research for a real long time here. How much are you needing to find out about low frequency waves? How much is there to find out in 2026? Do you know what I mean? They've been doing this for quite a while. Hold on, let's see when HAARP was built here. Bear with us. So 1993, 2007 for the rest of them. So 1993, they've been doing research here. What are we on now? 2026. So fucking over 30 years of research, apparently, into frequency waves, etc. I mean, how much can you learn? How much did we not know by 1993? So again, they're going to deny it. Obviously, that's the other side of it. You're not going. Oh, of course we can change the weather. Well, why don't you stop all the? So that's the other side of it. You've got to factor in that they are going to deny it as well, I suppose. But that's kind of the crack with HAARP anyway. It's in Alaska, it's owned by the American government, and it heats up the ionosphere, doing whatever they're doing. So this video is massive winter storm is completely engineered. Now, when they're saying that, I would imagine it's either through HAARP or you can do cloud seeding, and I mean weather manipulation. I mean chemtrails. They actually, for years and years, people thought chemtrails was a conspiracy theory, and they come out and they've admitted it. You know what I mean? And there's even like footage of the planes that they spray this whatever they're spraying in the sky there. So yeah, they've got chemtrails, we've got cloud seeding, we've got HAARP. There's many ways to manipulate the weather. It would seem that they kind of deny all knowledge of any of them when some of them are well known. Do you know what I mean? Not maybe well known to the general public, but they're known. Cloud seeding, definitely. You know what I mean? And chemtrails, all you have to do is look up in summer, and they're fucking everywhere, no matter where you go. So yeah, there's video footage of the actual planes that spray the materials. You know what I mean? So it's all out there. It's whether you want to kind of believe it as well, I suppose. You know what I mean? Ripley's believe it or not. So apparently this storm's been engineered. We'll have a lot listen to this.
They knew they would be creating events exactly like what's happening right now in the U.S. Winter Storm Fern, that they will blame ultimately as a result of global warming when in fact it's 100% engineered with chemical isonucleation operations. But because they use the climate change term, people accept that as, oh, that's just a part of this process. No, it's not. It's engineered.
So the Davos
Oh, sorry.
WEF forum in Davos 2026 is happening. It happened this week. And James O'Keefe went undercover and he got them to admit.
Yeah, World Economic Forum elites openly admit that chemicals are being sprayed into the atmosphere to cool the planet and even into the food supply. Yeah, I mean, there was a thing as well called Codex Alimentarius, if people wanted to look that up. And that was kind of removing nutrition from your food slightly, was kind of the aim of Codex Alimentarius quite a while ago as well. So, yeah, fucking your food up a bit as well, and fucking putting chemicals in your food and all this kind of shit, and cooking with stuff that we shouldn't cook with. Again, like the what we make bread with, like is nowhere near what we used to make bread with, and the bread today is nowhere near as good as it used to be back in the old days. Again, a loaf of bread could sustain somebody just eating bread for the day for weeks because it was full of goodness and from the actual wheat, etc. We don't use the right wheat or nothing. James O'Keefe, we love it. So, yeah, I mean, I think there was a news article like last year as well that the English government admitted they were going to spray the skies because it was too warm or something. Hold on a minute. Yeah, so here we go. In May 2025, the UK Government Advanced Research and Innovation Agency, ARIA, announced it would fund approximately 60 million of our money gone down the drain for research projects into solar radiation modification, or SRM, to help cool the planet. These projects involve small-scale scientific experiments exploring ways to reflect sunlight. So again, this is kind of like reducing your vitamin D, though. Again, if the body needs vitamin D, you know what I mean, and we don't get a lot of vitamin D as it is here in England. It's not that hot, so yeah, the body needs vitamin D. It really does, and through winter, when the real long winters here in England and real dark from sort of October to February, March, you don't get much sunlight at all here in England, so you've got to get the best of it in the summertime. Yet these people want to block the bloody sun out here, you know what I mean, and block the radiation from the sun, which is ultimately like the you're getting your vitamins as well, like acting as if the sun is bad when the sun is a life giver, you know what I mean? This is how the plants grow, and yeah, the sun's absolutely essential to life, and these people want to block it out. And this is in England. I mean, I remember making a video on this in May. You know what I mean? They literally come out and said that we're gonna block the sun for you in summer. And I remember saying at the time, we don't even get a summer as it is here, and you're gonna block the sun out. So it's been said. There you go. It's in black and white. I know it's an AI overview, but I did make a video about it at the time. Yeah, these players. So weather modification, blocking out the sun. It's all out there. It's not even modern science anymore, really. That's the thing. It's age old science in many ways. So I'll maybe even have a look and see if I can find a clip of one of the planes spraying as well as more proof here. Hold on. Here we go.
This persistent contrail on the 747, you see number 3 engine has got a contrail that's a different color. Also, look at the very close approximation of the beginning of the contrail and the end of the jet engine. This is an unusual situation that allows the passengers to actually see the contrails as they sit behind the wing of the aircraft, and perhaps even if they sit in front of the wing and just look backwards, they can see this contrail, persistent contrail forming up very close to the engine. A normal water vapor contrail would not start appearing until sometime after the horizontal stabilizer, not allowing anyone to see the contrail. So a persistent contrail that starts just behind the engine would be visible as the passengers look out the window.
So, yeah, hold on. I'll see if I can find another. So here's a picture of weather modification plane, aka chemtrails, on the screen, American flag. It's a short. I'll let it play through again from the start. So it's literally got written on the side of it, weather modification there. I don't know if you can see that, weather modification. And here we have the apparatus that sprays the chemtrails off the plane. So it's there to be seen, you know what I mean? Atmospheric research platform. Here's a plane with weather modification written on the side of the plane, and even here is the apparatus that sprays the chemicals into the air. So deny chemtrails now. You know what I mean? Hold on.
All the stuff that was called a conspiracy theory about people talking about chemtrails and the pollution that governments and private people are putting into the atmosphere under the guise of fighting climate change. Okay? World Economic Forum elites openly admit that chemicals are being sprayed into the atmosphere to cool the planet and even onto the food supply. One insider admits most of these operations are handled by the military, carried out quietly and behind closed doors. James O'Keefe went undercover at the World Economic Forum Davos 2026, capturing officials on camera admitting to what's long been dismissed as a conspiracy theory. So,
yeah, I mean, I've mentioned this. What's the difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory in 2026? About 6 months. About 6 months there. So you might want to listen to the conspiracy theories, because they pretty much end up being right in the end every fucking time. So yeah, I mean, we've been talking about HAARP and chemtrails for, God, nearly 20 years here. And, I mean, HAARP was built in 2007. So nearly 20 years we've been going on about weather modification here, and for 20 years you've been a conspiracy theorist, obviously. Even though these people do not know what the word conspiracy means. You're a conspiracy theorist, that was the crack. But, yeah, lo and behold, the conspiracy theorists are right yet again. So, yeah, they're manipulating the weather. I mean, even mentioning here the food supply, you know what I mean? I wasn't we're going to mention that, to be honest, but I'm just talking about weather modification. But you don't, again, people don't know who they're dealing with here. You know what I mean? They think the powers that be like the peasants here. That seems to be the delusion out here. The powers that be do not like the peasants. So yeah, again, there it is in black and white. Again, we'll see. I'll play more of the video here, but you've maybe got a video proof of the proof, so to speak. But I mean, I've just showed you there the English government admitting to weather modification, trying to block out the sun in summer when we don't even get any sun. I mean, the last time we seen the sun with any heat in it was over 4 months ago here. So it's going to be another 2 months at least before we see the sun with any heat in it. So that's 6 months a year where we don't get any sun really. So in the 6 months that we do, these people are going to block it out apparently. So that'll be good for health, won't it? And again, no vitamin D. So this is what you're dealing with. This is literally what you're dealing with here. The people that you're dealing with, and they know fine well. Again, a lot of people, the way the economy's going, they won't be able to afford to go on holiday to get some sun abroad. They're stuck in England here, and yeah, this will have catastrophic. It'll take time, but it'll have catastrophic health impacts on the general population, not giving anybody vitamin D. So, bad news yet again. It's fucking bagwash every day of the week. I'll play a bit more.
let's watch a little bit of this.
So we invest in these technologies to assist with the warming climate, and the effect of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere will help block some of the warming.
So James O'Keefe is posing as a guy who runs a company who's going to be doing these chemtrail stuffs and cloud seeding and things of that nature. So he's presenting himself as one of them undercover, and watch what he gets them to admit.
And the particles stay in the air for 1 year. So, and actually we're speaking to some of the airplane manufacturers and to see if they can emit some of our technology into the atmosphere to help with the global warming. That's right. Yeah, climate. I mean, we don't like to use the term climate engineering. It scares people, so we prefer.
But it's but for me, being an engineer, I think that's actually what you do. It's
Yes.
You can have financial engineering, you can have, I'm sure, climate engineering, because it involves something that's more scientific.
Yes, exactly. You're an engineer, you understand. It's from Sweden, right? So we don't like to call them chemtrails. We don't like to use this.
So what do you call it instead?
Well, we call it aerosol injection. Aerosol. It's kind of like little droplets.
Okay.
And the droplets form in the air.
Yeah, they don't like to admit that they're putting chemicals into the air. I mean, we have no idea what they're spraying here, and it stays in the air for a year, and these people spray like every other day or every day during summer. Again, look up in summer, you know what I mean? Again, well, there's no denying chemtrails at this point. I've just showed you the plane, and the English government even admitting that they're going to do it. So here's again somebody else admitting that they do it, and again it's all there to be. Again, that it's no longer a conspiracy theory. Yet again, the conspiracy theorists have been right in the end. So yeah, it stops in the air for a year. And these people spray all the time, and eventually this comes down, and we're breathing all this shit in, you know what I mean? So, fuck knows what it's doing to us, but probably nothing good, you know what I mean? Nothing good.
They stay there for a year.
Yeah.
It's modeled kind of a mini volcanic eruption, actually.
Yeah. I mean, aviation fuels have some sulfur in them, so
Yeah.
it creates some sulfur dioxide emissions naturally, and that does have a
So this is a guy's name is Kennedy Ritchie. He's the president and CEO at 4Air. And so it creates some sulfur dioxide emissions naturally, and that does have a cooling effect.
Now, this guy, Kennedy Ritchie, who runs a company called 4Air, spoke on stage, and he says on his website that he wants to, quote, decarbonize the aviation industry. He actually told me he was trying to eliminate contrails entirely, but then brought up cloud seeding.
A lot of the work actually came out of the military, so they do this all the time.
Whoa!
Have you worked with them at all?
No, because they're a little more closed door about their procedures.
You ever heard of sulfur dioxide?
Yeah.
You've heard of that? Okay. Yeah.
It's actually pretty cheap to do it. The ability to put sulfur dioxide there is actually a pretty cheap way to cool down the earth.
Oh, yeah.
So the opportunity for one or two people to do it is impressive. He went a little further. He's like, it'd be interesting if the government start doing this over each other's territories on purpose. Like if we start getting to weather modification as a government, either good or bad.
Yeah.
The closest one I'm aware of is someone called Airborne Snow Observatory. They do some more like weather, I don't want to say modification, but more like upper atmosphere weather monitoring is probably a better term.
Yeah. Now, according to the website Airborne, this is what this guy Ritchie brings up, measures snow depth, snow water equivalence, provides highly accurate snowpack data, is a commercial spin-off of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory snow monitoring technology used to help water managers and scientists.
So let me bring in our expert guest on this. Dane Whittington's here. He's a lead researcher and administrator for the website geoengineeringwatch.org. He's the executive producer of the groundbreaking climate engineering documentary called The Dimming, which is available on YouTube, has over 27 million views so far.
The Dimming, 27 million views. Again, that's kind of what's happening in the UK there. We mentioned in May. Blocking out the sun, dimming the sun. But again, this has, probably an effect on our vitamin D levels. So, again, they're trying to, believe it or not, they're trying to cull us off here. That's why the war's coming. That's why the economies are collapsing and poverty's reigning. There's too many people on the planet, and through various methods, they're going to get rid of us. And if you're weak and malnutrition, have a massive lack of vitamin D, you'll go down a lot easier, it would seem. I'm kind of going to leave it there. If you want to come and video's long enough, to be honest. If you want to come and watch the rest of the video on the Jimmy Dore Show, again, that this guy has mentioned the documentary there, The Dimming, 27 million views apparently. Again, all about climate engineering, weather modification. Again, it's no longer a conspiracy theory in 2026. They openly admit that they do this now, you know what I mean? Again, the conspiracy theorists were right 20 years ago. So, we'll leave it there anyway. Peace.